Hey folks, so I want to take a few minutes and talk to you guys a little bit about my Dark Eldar, the reason behind the army, the force organization that I've selected, and pretty much the purpose of the various different units in the army, and how I use them for the most part. So to start off, it's a rather fluffy list. There's a reason behind the units only having warriors for the most part. And I wanted to focus on a pirate list. And I've been playing Dark Eldar pretty much since their inception, and that's what I've always focused on is this pirate force that went out there, and makes me sad. But the Corsairs do the whole pirate thing a heck of a lot better. But I'm holding my own for the most part when it comes to some of the games with the Dark Eldar. So that's basically the idea. It's the broken sigil. They're all about terror, going out and just doing tons of raids. Their army is mostly focused on warriors and razor wings. So that's why you'll see Razor Wings occasionally within my army, and sometimes a Void Raven Bomber, but very, very, very rare. Now, the army is basically a Raider Spam when you really get down to it. That's the entire point behind it is just tons of Raiders. It's all about MSU, OBSEC, just get things out there, hold objectives, kill stuff as quick as you can, and get the hell out. So fast and maneuverable is definitely something that's a huge advantage. So talking about some of the advantages of the army, it is MSU. It is very fast. It's great for being able to get into a situation, get out. It's really good for anti-tank and anti-infantry. So there's tons of lance weapons, haywire weapons, and a lot of shots when it comes to splinter weapons. And poison's a big factor too of the army. So taking on monstrous creatures or things like plague marines is a lot easier in comparison to using some other armies. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks to this army is how weak it is. So you get a few good shots into a raider, blow it up, and it starts wrecking the other raiders around it. So it's very, very, very weak in regards to taking shots. So you can come in strong, start hitting strong, but if you start to lose units, your entire effectiveness of your army starts getting shredded very quickly. So let's talk about HQ. So for the most part, I've got three different choices when it comes to HQ. I'll typically run either, they're all going to be in Venoms with Splinter Cannon top and the bottom. It'll either be a Lamian by themselves if I just need to put points in other units. It'll be either a Lamian and a 4-person group of Medusae, and they're not the creepy looking ugly ones. They're basically models. They're Eldar musicians. So the idea is Lamians heading in and being courted by these musicians as they're heading into battle, right? The third choice is going to be musicians with the Archon. Oh, sorry, not musicians. Medusae with the Archon and a Webway portal, of course, in a Venom, deep striking in and having a lot of fun there. Now, my elites, this is where my Warlord kind of comes into play. So, my elites are a group of Trueborn. So, 4 blasters and a Dracon with a Haywire grenade. That Haywire grenade for 5 points, that can make the difference between a dead model and a live model. So, for the fact that it's my Warlord, why not throw a Haywire grenade on it, right? So that's pretty much how it usually runs, unless of course I have the Archon and they're going to be my Warlord, of course, just because it's my Archon, right? Um, Troops, those ones are usually set up in 3 different groups. So I've got 3 Raiders full of 10 Warriors. One of them has a Splinter Cannon. All of the Raiders are going to have Splinter Racks and Dark Lances. The Warriors with 10 and the Splinter Cannon, those guys are basically my anti-infantry. The other 3 are going to be more of a jack of all trades. They're going to be anti-infantry, very light anti-infantry, and a light anti-tank. So it'll be 3 raiders with 5 warriors, and one of them has a blaster. So they're going to be a little bit further up. getting ready to take out tanks, while the other ones are going to be held a little bit further back and will later move on to take out any of the horrible infantry that should happen to pop out of the ground. When it comes to fast attack, I love my Razor Wings. They're so much fun to field, but they're just not as effective as my Scourge. So what I'll do is I'll usually put Scourge in the place of the Razor Wings, although the Razor Wings are much more fluffy, because the Broken Sigil, they'll have their jets flying in and writing horrible messages in the sky, and then carpet bombing with hallucinogen bombs. So I'll usually run 2 squads of Scourge, 5 of them in each, and 4 of them will have Haywire blasters for the most part. Heavy support, those guys are going to be 2 Ravagers, 2 Ravagers with 3 Dark Lances, and that's pretty much it. So that's the army as a whole. So it's very, very fast. It can't take any hits, and it can at least put out enough damage to basically make someone kind of, second guess maneuvering some of their heavier units. Now, how I usually deploy my army is I'll put the 3 raiders with the 5 warriors and a blaster near the front. I'll have the 3 raiders with the 10 warriors in each a little bit further back, and then I'll have my Scourge either in reserve and what they'll do is they're not going to deep strike. They'll walk on and then shoot something 24 inches away. I typically won't deep strike them, mostly because it's a small unit and I don't want to lose them right off the bat. If I don't want to keep them in reserve, I'll usually put them in cover and then have them jump out somewhere, or behind cover and have them jump out and shoot something. The Ravagers are usually going to be mixed in somewhere with the 3 raiders at the back that have the 10 warriors, and then my Venoms are going to be usually mixed in with the 3 raiders in the front. So I'll kind of have 2 lines, one more anti-tank, and then the second one more anti-infantry, with a mix of anti-infantry and anti-tank mixed in both. So I'll try and focus on denying an enemy's flank once the game actually begins. So I'll take pretty much half my army and turbo boost it to the other side if I have to, and then focus in and just move up on one flank. I try to use the speed as much as possible. So any units that are either slow moving on one flank, I'll just ignore them, move to the other side. Or if there's a lot of long range weaponry on one side, I'll move that side and just try and kill those and do what I can. So that's pretty much the army as a whole. It's been kind of 50-50 for the most part. I've won games, I've lost games, I've been crushed. It's not the kind of army that you're going to come out of a game with kind of a middle of the road type event. It's going to be either you go in and you win really, really hard, or you go in and you lose really, really bad. So overall, it's a lot of fun to play, and it has the merit of being a unique army on the table in comparison to all the Eldar, Necrons, and tons of Space Marines now. So I hope you guys got a little bit out of this video. I know I kind of enjoyed talking a little bit about the army, and I really enjoy it. I'm getting the itch to jump back into my Eldar, but I'm still, fighting them off and sticking with my Dark Eldar for now. So, again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.